Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to the new episode of Let's Talk. And today we're gonna talk about, one of my favorite clubs, and definitely favorite club in England, Liverpool FC.
That is right, because they have their star time, I would say. They are one of the best, if not at this moment, the best club in Europe.
Currently, they only have one loss for the entire year and two draws. All of the rest are wins, but I just hope that we won't jinx them as we did with Barcelona after we covered them after that thrashing of Real Madrid. They started to drop points in La Liga. They're still doing really good in Champions League, but in La Liga they started dropping points almost every match.
Like mad, yeah. So let's hope we will not bring any bad luck to Liverpool and to Liverpool fans with our new video. So stay tuned.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, let us begin, but not from the Liverpool glory days of the 80s and Ian Rush, but also not of the, most horrible years I remember as a Liverpool fan when we paid so much money for lights of Andy Carroll and all of the similar players. But let's start with the season 15-16 and the first, let's say, glimpses of this Liverpool that we know now under Jürgen Klopp and now Arne Slot.
Exactly, because their best times, like you said, starting from the 80s, next golden era started almost 10 years ago when Jürgen Klopp came there from Borussia Dortmund, where he was also a legendary coach. He managed to advance to a Champions League final with Borussia Dortmund, so that was a very seen move from the management of Liverpool by hiring Jürgen Klopp as a new coach after very disappointing career of the previous coach, I would say.
I mean, Brendan Rodgers was in a wrong place and a wrong time, I guess. I wouldn't say that he's a bad manager, but the timing, and especially the timing about this season, we're gonna talk about 15-16 season.
That was a crazy season.
Yeah, it was the middle of all the turnaround in Liverpool. So that's the year Gerrard retired. I mean, not retired, but he went to LA Galaxy, but kinda retired.
It was one leg.
Yeah, one leg was in the retirement. They had to sell Raheem Sterling to City, and their best replacement was actually one of the key players in the future of Liverpool, like Roberto Firmino, who they bought from Hoffenheim for not huge amount of money, and he wasn't this high profile signing because he was good, everybody knew that he was good, but he was not outstanding star of Bundesliga even.
Yeah, it wasn't the biggest overhyped and not even hyped transfer of
that's
whole
literally
league.
Under the radar signing, and it turned out great. And yet another big key play.
It was let's give it a shot investment, and it worked out 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And also let's mention another important thing. So that's the year that they needed a new captain, and that was Jordan Henderson, who stayed captain until a year and a half ago when he left for Saudi.
Yeah.
And he also turned out to be one of the key signings and one of the key parts in Klopp's Liverpool.
Exactly. So small decisions made in short time made a huge impact, but later.
Yeah, it was on the long run, because
term.
on the short run, Liverpool finished this season at 8th place. They missed out on European qualification, and their only glimpses of, let's say, future was the Europa League
final.
Yeah, they reached final. They led 1-0 in the final, but they lost to a team who subscribed to winning the Europa League, Sevilla.
Exactly. Yeah, Sevilla is the best club in Europa League.
They have most titles there.
History. Yeah, every time when there's Sevilla, you know who's winning this.
Yeah, exactly. So Yeah, that was the start, but let's move to the future.
So going forward, season 16-17 is one of my favorite because Chelsea won the title.
Last title of Chelsea.
Yeah, with 93 points. I still remember that. But moving back to our heroes, which is Liverpool, this time they played way better. They took 4th place, which was
significant improvement of the season before.
Exactly, like comparing to the 8th place, that's like half.
Yeah, literally,
half
that's like
better.
50% better, and
the
they
last
went
champion
from missing the Europe in total to like qualifying again for Champions League next season.
Yeah, and the last champion, which was Leicester, of that like crazy 15-16, was out of even top 8 of Premier League,
because that was like a
one-time charm.
But I have to admit, because me as Liverpool fan, we were so bad that there were no hope that we were gonna win the title. I was cheering on for Leicester like for the entire end of the season.
Me
like,
too.
For them to win,
yeah, it was always something new, you know.
Yeah, something new and exciting, and that was it.
And what was good also actually that you didn't had, and most of the, I would say, Liverpool fans didn't had much expectations. That was actually good for Jürgen Klopp, I would say, because he had all the time that he wanted and all of the like patience. It's not like in Extraclasa that after like 2-3 loses you will get fired. No, it doesn't work that way in like serious leagues like Premier League. He had all the time and all the patience in the world and all the money that he might use to also do some nice new transfers, which we will also cover soon.
But that's also like one of the misunderstandings. Like people say, oh, Liverpool spent that amount of money. For example, let's take this season. There were 2 huge signings,
And that's it. Yeah.
but they didn't cost that much money. So let's say 3, okay? So Matip came from Schalke as a like free agent, and they spent money of 2 players that also turned out to be key players. One of them is Sadio Mane, they bought from Southampton, and the second one was Jorginho Wijnaldum. They bought also like from Newcastle.
Yeah.
They were good players, but I don't think anybody thought they're gonna be that good.
As that good, yeah. Like none of these players felt like stars of like whole league. Like
Exactly, like they were playing good. Like Sadio Mane had some great numbers, but those numbers were in Southampton. And don't get me wrong, like the season prior, Southampton finished above Liverpool.
that shows.
But yeah, exactly. But they spent like 60 something million, and they earned more than 70 because they managed to sell some, let's be rude and call them deadwood. Like they sold Benteke for almost 30 mil. They sold Cartel, Joe Allen, like all of these like
Who remembers
older players. I remember, unfortunately, because I watched them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got like some decent money for like all of those players who were at this point really aging and not being that good. Man, I had to sit through pain of watching like 82-year-old Kolo Toure play for us, man.
Exactly. So like, what more do you need after taking 8th place? Like imagine today Liverpool on place number 8.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Premier League to actually do some real changes and say goodbye to some of the like old players, like just like
let me tell you one secret. When I saw that Liverpool signed Sadio Mane, I was like, not another Southampton striker. Last 2 were horrible, and they were actually
3 times the charm.
But 3rd time was the charm actually, and yeah, so now we see the wheels moving in the right direction.
Yeah, started, and yeah, everything was actually improving, and all of the other clubs started to actually have a little bit of fear of Liverpool once again, because it was always like one of the best clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah, and little do we know that it was already just started. next season, Liverpool didn't manage to take us another step forward in the Premier League because they finished at fourth place again. But some important things were happening. A lot of key pieces of title winning and Champions League winning Liverpool were actually starting to form in the transfer window.
Exactly, because Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk came to the club, and also like everyone knows these players today. Everyone would like to have them in their roster, and there was also like a big going out of the club.
Yeah, in the winter they sold Coutinho to Barcelona, and basically it financed Van Dijk transfer and also like Salah transfer, because they got Salah on the cheap, really. Like they bought him from Roma for a bit more than 40 million. They did break the bank for Van Dijk, making him like at this point I think like the most expensive defender of all time, until United made Maguire most expensive defender. But yeah, and let me give you another secret. When Van Dijk signed, I was like, not another Southampton player. Why are we financing Southampton?
Well,
oh boy, was I wrong.
Yeah,
because again,
I wish I
had the same fear, because the previous Southampton player, like center back they bought, was Dejan Lovren. He was decent at best, but like really not, let's say, Liverpool class player.
Yeah, not in every fixture. And if you are playing for Liverpool, you need to be at 120% in every fixture.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter if it's like Mickey Mouse Cup or Champions
League final. But unfortunately, we'll come to that bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me mention also like two important things. One of those things was injury to Nathaniel Klein. So he was for a few years like first choice right back for Liverpool. He got injured, and until sun sets somewhere, it doesn't shine somewhere else. And little did we know that his injury replacement from the academy would be Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, also like there must be like a guy who knows magic. Like imagine having this high amount of very good investments, and I'm still calling this like investments, because if you are paying 20 million, 30 million for players that will play in your like first squad, you got
for a decade almost.
For a decade, yeah, and be like top players, but like not in the very next fixture. Of course, everything takes time, but it's like easy to pick one, but like having like 6, 7, it's like almost full squad, like almost full 11 has been bought for like pennies.
Yeah, compared to like insane prices that teams are actually paying for players. And like the biggest steal of Jürgen Klopp era was also this season, like buying a player like Andy Robertson for 10 mil from Hull is a steal of the century.
Exactly, yeah. Imagine like this is like if you're playing Football Manager and you're picking like, okay, let's test this one, and all of them, like 5 out of 5 players are actually starting.
Yeah, that's like
developing.
you playing 50 saves up to this point, and you know which are gonna turn out great.
Yeah,
and literally that's what was in this. Like even a player who didn't fulfill his, let's say, Liverpool destiny at the fullest that they bought from Arsenal this year, like Oxlade-Chamberlain, he was still decent. He was still an important squad player,
and all of a sudden everything worked out. But
I mean, let's call it this way: the season before, there was a left winger. The season prior to this, Firmino, so like center forward. Now there's Salah at the right. Now there's Trent at the right back. There's Andy Robertson here on the left, and Virgil van Dijk in the center. So now we have 6 out of 11 key pieces already here.
Yeah, you have this like core. I'm always calling
and this core is, except 2 players, still there.
Exactly. And that was enough to reach the Champions League final.
Yeah, and I'm still mad about how things went into this match.
Yeah, very fast. Mohamed Salah was threatened by Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, it's beyond my comprehension how Sergio Ramos wasn't sent off like twice.
Yeah, that was a very crazy final because Sergio Ramos was doing.
He literally came into that game to injure Salah.
Exactly.
Literally, that tackle was with no intention to get the ball to do anything else but to injure him.
Yeah, like we saw it on a big screen actually because we were watching this in a cinema.
No, man, like we watched at the cinema the 1-0 when Vinicius scored, I think. Like when Courtois was saving everything. And,
okay, so maybe that was.
Yeah.
I was on that final in a cinema, but maybe.
But not with me.
With someone else.
Because at this point I barely came into Poland. I think I was here for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I
remember where I watched it. I watched it with a couple of friends, and one of the friends is actually our subscriber, so when she watches this, she will know what I'm talking about because we watched it at her apartment.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean,
Real Madrid had a very similar tactic that Germany had in '74 World Cup final because they were at the first 5-10 minutes they were all the time like falling, attacking Cruyff, which was Dutch best
like
player,
smacking him like literally all the time.
Yeah, and like Real Madrid did the same with Mohamed Salah by Sergio Ramos.
And refs just allowed it. And man, Sergio Ramos gave Karius a concussion that wasn't even called a foul.
Yeah, imagine that. And
as fans would say, this is embarrassing.
Well, yeah. I would need to check if they were actually singing that, but I bet.
I doubt it at that point, but yeah, it turns out this. And man, that ruined Karius' career.
One match,
and he was decent. I won't say he was world-class goalkeeper or anything, but
he
was decent for us. Mm-hmm. Like he was always there where called upon. But man, it's unfair to target a person in a match where he had a concussion that wasn't called. Like the guy had no idea what he was doing. So I really feel sorry for him, like in everything that's happened after that.
Me too, but yeah, that was still Champions League final and like the
biggest stage possible almost
for the clubs.
Like maybe like the World Cup is the only thing that's above it.
Yeah, but that's like a national thing. Like you won't see Mohamed Salah playing World Cup final, just like you won't see Robert Lewandowski playing World Cup final, like any international finals.
I mean, we didn't get to see Mohamed Salah even play the World Cup, let alone World Cup finals. So.
I mean, Salah played in 2018.
Oh yeah,
there was Egypt in Group A with hosts.
Oh yeah, I totally spaced out about this. Yeah, they managed it once.
He was one time, in
Russia.
In Russia World Cup, yeah.
Oh Jesus, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Egypt was like believed to be a dark horse of Group A because Russians had their struggles before the World Cup, but they turned out
because they were on the home turf also, and they had Saudi Arabia, who was really horrible in that
yeah, like one of the best opening matches because there was just lots of goals,
tons of goals. Yeah,
tons of
Russians
goals.
Just
opened the World Cup in big style.
Yeah, but let's not get carried around too much. And
so we had Europa League final and we had Champions League final. Like there were glimpses,
two losses, but
and both of them were lost still. But these were big glimpses of something is going on with Liverpool, and they are actually
moving
growing
in the right direction.
Yeah, and soon after Mohamed Salah was bought, he was already a star of whole league. Same with Van Dijk. Everyone saw these players as one of the best ones in the whole league, and advancing to Champions League final was like a proof, like this.
That Liverpool actually means business.
Exactly, yeah, and it was actually getting better and better even after not winning any cup. So we are starting with next season with one of the best, if not the best, Champions League season, which came along the way by the opinion of many, as I have spoken, and even I truly believe that was like the best season, followed by the one of the lamest final in the comparison to what has been happening. But let's not jump forward too much, because we are still in 18-19 season, which was like first big hop forward by Jürgen Klopp's boys, because Liverpool took second place, just 1 point behind Manchester City, who
And like 20 points in front of the third place, because that was a great season for both teams. 98 points for City, 97 points for Liverpool.
Yeah, and just 5 goals behind.
Yeah.
In a difference.
That was so unfortunate, because that was like City at their Premier League peak. And it was so hard to play against. I mean, Liverpool had first place for some time. Then they dropped points against United, and then like 9 matches before the end they dropped again 2 points versus Everton. They played 0-0, and they won their last 8 matches. They still didn't manage to win the title, because like City won the last 10 plus matches.
Yeah, that shows how
great they were.
How great they were with Guardiola on the bench. Also, like 2 great coaches just like fighting till the very end of the race for champions.
But yeah, this season also brought us a few key pieces to the puzzle again, and one of those pieces was in the goalkeeper spot. They bought Alisson from Roma.
Yeah, and sold Karius, who, like we said, career.
They sent him out on loan, but I mean,
to Turkey.
He is to Besiktas. I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But his career kinda ended after the Champions League final, but career of Alisson Becker was just starting.
Yeah, and he's right now one of the best goalkeepers in the whole Premier League. So there must have been like some magician inside.
Or this was just like so lucky. Like so Mane was good. Can you see this Van Dijk? And maybe they were also like, we see that Salah, he is good. Let's get their goalkeeper also. Like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it worked out. Mm-hmm. They also got Fabinho, who played a very nice role for them. Like, he was a great utility player. He played in the midfield, even as a center back when they had like injury crisis. Well, that's like 2 years in front of us still, moment. And they had their first huge miss. They bought Naby Keita from Leipzig.
Well, you just can't be 100% right all the time. Like, sometimes you need to miss.
But also like in Keita's favor, let's say, he was plagued by injuries for all of that time, so he wasn't even able to show his best.
Yeah, and that was one of the first seasons when they were mostly buying and not selling. And if selling or sending someone on a loan, that wasn't for a big amount of money.
Yeah, exactly. Like this season, they didn't sell anyone more expensive than Solanke. I think that they tracked to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Jürgen Klopp's machine was almost done. I would say it was
piece by piece of the puzzle was there almost, and it worked out in the best way possible in the Champions League.
Yeah, like the life gave them back what has like taken from
well, what Milorad Mažić took from them season before was returned with huge amount of luck against Barcelona in the semis, because coming back from 3-0 down after first fixture, that was insanity.
That was a Barcelona thing actually that they did.
And that was like one of the most iconic Champions League moments of all time. Was corner taken quickly.
Liverpool 3-0. Corner taken quickly. Origi! Yeah! Yeah! Unbelievable! Divock Origi! Oh my word! Yes! This is extraordinary. Last night.
like the live commentator.
Yeah,
So-
and like Divock Origi turned into a real talisman for Liverpool. He was rarely a starter, but that guy scored so many important goals. For Liverpool.
Yeah, he was like Fabio Grosso for Italy in 2006. Like no one heard of him before and after, but he scored one of the most important goals in club history.
Yeah, so that's it. But yeah, then came final, and let's say that was like easier job than semi-final against Tottenham.
Yeah, because semi-final was, in my opinion, actually like a final.
Final before final.
Two
yeah.
best clubs just came.
Coming at each other.
Yeah. And
But-
in the second semi-final we had Ajax and Tottenham, and that was also crazy happening. Like Ajax was one leg and a half of the second one in the final and got like
Got
kicked
pushed
out.
back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Liverpool revenged them, and that was, let's say, a match they had full control of, because early goal, early penalty,
Yeah,
and
very
then
fast one.
again Origi like put the nail in the coffin for Tottenham and
Yeah.
made sure that Kane doesn't win any trophies.
Still, and he still haven't won. And we are talking about 18-19 season. We are even in a pre-COVID era.
Yeah, it's still like it doesn't exist. The world is nice. We are going out, and all these like nice things.
Yeah, and Kane without a trophy. All the nice things.
Yep. So, let's get into the plague season. Now we came to the plague season 1920, and this was the season where all the puzzle was already there in place, and
They took what they wanted.
yeah, Premier League title after 20 plus years.
Exactly. That was one of the things that not many of us were actually expecting, because even with Liverpool was one of the best teams, they found someone better, just a bit, but still better, which was Manchester City. But like this season, they were the best, and there was like no doubt. Just have a look at the points in the table. But the jokes around Liverpool in that season was that okay, they might win, but there won't be like anyone on the streets.
Yeah, there would be
cheering.
a celebration actually, and
no,
it turned
also-
out to be true.
Yeah.
But I was so scared that like the championship is maybe gonna get cancelled or some stuff like that.
I was about to say that
Yeah.
that even in that season when Liverpool will 100% win, the season will be cancelled.
Yeah,
It
because
won't.
like okay, it was March and Liverpool was already like 95% champions because like the margin was so big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like literally, this season was like coming of everything like together. Everything just like starting fitting perfectly. There were no big signings. There were no big departures. Just like run back the team from previous years, and literally the signings they got were like punt for the future. Like Minamino, like Harvey Elliott, who is now like a decent squad player.
Yeah, but like
and-
right now.
Yeah. And Sepp van der Berg, who didn't even play a Premier League match for them.
Yeah.
Okay, they sold him for huge profit because they bought him for like 2 mil and sold him for more than 20.
Yeah.
But nothing important for the first team at this point.
No need for like
Exactly,
everything was
like,
working perfect.
Now we like the entire like puzzle is completed.
Yeah, just for names: Salah,
Yeah.
Mane, Van Dijk, and Firmino.
And Firmino and Jordan Henderson, Milner, Fabinho, Alisson, Trent,
Yeah,
like Matip.
yeah. We still
Van-
remember this.
Yeah, exactly. This
Names.
is like typical like
Golden
starting 11 for them at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, in Champions League they got eliminated even before the pandemic.
Yeah, was a thing. Like there
Yeah.
was some like news coverage back then, but it was only like in China, only in Wuhan. No one knew what is
then
like
it
going
turned
on.
out to be Brazil, but they got eliminated in extra time by Atletico Madrid, and even like they said, this match turned into like a COVID-related like incident spike in the northern
Exactly,
England.
yeah, because on the stadiums there
Yeah.
were lots of people
Lots of people that
with
are
COVID.
there and next to each other.
Yeah,
like,
and
at
the
this
plague
point,
got
like,
spread.
the masks weren't a thing and everything. It was like a top thing for a plague to spread.
Yeah, because back then no one actually really thought that it's gonna be that much of a pandemic
Issue.
thing.
Yeah, I remember myself. I was like, oh, there's gonna be like 2 months and everything's gonna be back to normal. And then like 2 years later.
Yeah, and we had this like also very nice and crazy season with like Barca and Bayern playing with empty stadiums.
Yeah.
Somewhere like in Portugal, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I think that was there. But I mean, Germans took like the best opportunity of this, like at least in the Champions League, because their league restarted first, and when they came back, you could see like the fitness difference and everything between like Bayern and other teams.
Yeah, only Barcelona with still Lionel Messi in their squad was kinda able to match with them, but like they also
conceded
got smacked
8 goals.
in one match, because there weren't like 2 matches, just like one match just to end this season. And yeah, that's it.
But let's get back onto the point.
Yeah, to
So-
Liverpool.
Yeah. So the title was there.
And also Club World Cup and UEFA Super Cup was won before this season. But let's be honest, these trophies are nice to have, but it's not anything.
But for
that
Liverpool, it was about Premier League, I think, most, because
All
that's
the time,
trophy that
yeah.
they didn't win in the longest time. They won Champions League like in a decade prior.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a new thing now.
after that crazy night in Istanbul.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and now let's say that Liverpool was at the top of the world. They finally got
That
the
was the
Champions
time.
League.
Yeah.
Next season they got the Premier League.
Yeah.
And now we get into the part of, well, sustaining that.
Yeah, because like main goals of Jürgen Klopp was
Kind
achieved.
of fulfilled, yeah.
Yeah. And he won the Champions League, which he hasn't won with Borussia. It
And
was
in
close.
The first try, he missed it also with Liverpool. Like
Yeah, he was
two
always
finals lost.
he was always like kind of close, like the closest before winning. Actually, there's like third final with Liverpool. He was back then in Wembley when they played with Bayern, but yeah, Robben took it for his club later. But yeah, after that, Jurgen Klopp was already like biggest legend, I would say, of all of the like coaches, and will be for like forever. And yeah, then the like stability era came, just like you said.
And stability and let's say now a revamp. Well, starting from the next season.
To be honest, when we are talking about season 2021, we should start with injuries.
That was the death of Liverpool that season, especially like on the 5th match against Everton. Well, the same referee who we covered in the last episode when we talked about what he said about Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and all of the Scousers, let's say, he was the same player that decided that what Pickford did wasn't a red card or wasn't a foul.
Yeah, and that created a big hole in the center of the defense.
And what was the worst is that with one Dijk injury, it just got started. Then
Yeah.
Joe Gomez got injured, and then in December, Joel Matip also got injured.
Yeah, and
So
it was
Liverpool
over.
was actually hanging in there for a while. They were first after, I don't know, like maybe first 10 matches, but then they failed to win a match for 1 month.
Yeah, and that kills the season.
That killed the season completely because at a certain point they even fell to 8th place. And at the end, when you look at it, they finished third. That was like salvaging the season actually, because that could be like a disastrous season, all because of injuries, and majority of them were at the center back. So Matip was out, Joe Gomez was out, Van Dijk, who was arguably the best center back in the world at that time, was out for the entire year.
And also Jürgen Klopp's syndrome. After 5 years, his clubs were
Oh, it's
also
actually
dropping.
7th year.
7?
Yeah, that's what he's like.
I'm
Yeah.
always bad at math.
Yeah, but no worries about that. So yeah, there's not much to talk about in general, because there was like a season where Liverpool had to play Fabinho at center back, where they had to play certain players who never played for them before or after.
Yeah,
Like they-
even not before.
So yeah, they had to use players like Nathaniel Phillips. Like he was starting for Liverpool, the guy who they had to return from loan from Stuttgart, I think, like it was somewhere in Germany.
Yeah.
And they also tried to bring back Ozan Kabak to life, like from Schalke, who was like a rising star, but like he fizzled out in general. Like he failed in Liverpool, he failed then in Norwich. Now he's getting his like act together in Hoffenheim, like back in Bundesliga. But those all were like forced solutions in the back, and Liverpool's leaking goals, like
Yeah, because you didn't have any defense.
any center back to speak of.
Yeah.
But
One of the most important positions in football.
yeah, but at least this season we had one glimpse of starting of the renovation of the Liverpool squad. Let's say planning ahead for the future.
Yeah,
And
because the biggest stars were 7 years older.
Yeah, exactly, and they brought in Diogo Jota.
Yeah, and he suddenly became one of the most important players. He scored as much goals as Firmino,
Yeah,
9 goals,
still Salah was king of Liverpool.
and Sané. Like these two for last three seasons.
Yeah, were the top 2 scorers.
Top two,
Because
yeah.
that was the Klopp ball. Firmino was never the top scorer, even though he was in the middle. He was like connecting the dots. But it was like Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah,
Salah.
cutting inside from the wings and terrorizing the defenses.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so now Jota joined forces, and also
And helped a lot actually.
and also one of the players who is now helping a lot, is a great backup, and I really love him, is Kostas Tsimikas, like they picked up from Olympiacos.
Olympiacos, yeah, very nice transfer. Just like once again, like
10 mil for
Magician.
him, and it's like for a backup left back who is playing really good.
really good. Yeah,
It's like
I mean-
cheap as chips deal.
I mean Greeks are very good at defending. they won European Championship
By defending.
defending. And not scoring many goals, but it
Yeah.
was enough.
Well, defense is healthy.
Back
and,
again.
And it got even stronger this time, because in summer Liverpool bought only one player, and that was Ibrahima Konate from Leipzig.
Yeah, and that was once again a very good transfer.
Yeah, and he is still like starting for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is 4th season for him now.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
But yeah, and this was such like hard season to watch as a Liverpool fan, because you had a feeling of being so close but so far, because it was like millimeters away from the quadruple.
Millimeters, exactly, because once again they were just 1 point behind Manchester City in the end. But Liverpool drew many times with in moments where no one was actually expecting the match, and it's even lost just 2 matches with one of them with Leicester and second one with West Ham.
Yeah, and it was again in the
December.
Yeah, in the Christmas period, because that's like when it's most congested time.
Yeah,
and I guess it
match
affected
after
them
match.
again. Yeah, they had a chance to regain the lead on the table, but they drew a match against City, and then they again drew against Tottenham. And yeah, that was it. Even though they had great ending of the season, the title was out. Yeah, but at least they won both cups this time, well, for the first time actually in the Klopp era, and it was both times against Chelsea, and it was both times penalty shootouts, and one of them in the FL Cup was crazy.
Yeah, only last shot wasn't scored.
Yeah, because Kepa was actually like a substitute keeper in that match. Came on for the penalties. Not only that he didn't manage to save 11 of them, but he managed to hit the bar and to lose it for Chelsea. And but yeah, then came the FA Cup final.
And same history almost.
Same history, but this time also
more
Mane first battled it to win for Liverpool again after a second miss for Chelsea. I think it was Mason Mount, but 100% I know that it was, before mentioned, Kostas Tsimikas that put the ball in the net to make it a Liverpool win.
Yeah, not going much into details. They were close.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's say at this point Chelsea was champions of Europe.
At this point, yeah, but didn't win anything
that season.
Anything more, yeah.
And then came the most painful part, and that was what we mentioned when we watched at the cinema, like on the big screen.
That was
Final
the one
versus Real.
Chance for a revenge for Liverpool, and it turned out to be even worse.
I expected like a certain, because Real got so lucky in last 16, then in quarterfinals, then in semi-finals.
Yeah, mostly in like last minutes all the time.
And but man, Courtois was doing some voodoo magic.
Exactly.
I think like Salah at the end of the match wanted to shut out his entire family. It was
wall.
Yeah.
He was a wall and man of the match, but that shows also what was this final all about. If the goalkeeper was the man of the match,
what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
But I mean, that season you couldn't call it a huge success, but still Liverpool got some silverware, and in the winter we had another squad refresh when Luis Diaz came from Porto.
Yeah.
And now,
new striker.
2 years in advance, we will see how important that is. But the following summer, even bigger renovation came to Liverpool squad, especially with departures this time.
With Wijnaldum, yeah.
Wijnaldum went out this summer, but now I'm talking about the next season already.
Okay.
And this was, let's say, a start of the newer Liverpool, and like final version of Klopp Liverpool, and this team that actually Arne Slot inherited and is leading now.
Yeah, and Arne Slot actually took some time to make this squad work like he invented, because like Klopp wasn't there.
Klopp put it there, and Slot just took what's there and just like did a bit of tweaking with the tactics, and that's it. Same players.
Yeah, but this also shows how good of a coach he is. So right now we are moving almost to our current times, because we now have to say something about season 22-23, if I recall
good.
You
recall correctly. And like I said in the previous segment, this is the first step in the bigger renovation. So last year they lost a huge part of the puzzle in Wijnaldum, and this is the season where they lost
Sadio Mane.
Yeah. he got sold to Bayern, and I was really surprised, especially like with the fee that they got for him. It was
Very cheap.
yeah, it was like for 30 millions,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They spend a lot of money on Darwin Núñez, and that, well,
Well,
he still isn't, let's say, worth that amount of money, because he's like the weirdest striker that Liverpool ever had.
he's tall.
He is a guy who comes into so many chances, man, and
He knows where to stand.
he knows where to stand, and I have a feeling that he's the guy who will score a goal if he doesn't have time to think about stuff. If he just instinctively shoots or does something.
Put the leg, yeah.
Yeah, he does something like majestic. But if he has time to think, like
He's
that,
overthinking
he's
then.
overthinking and he's battling it. And actually, last season he broke the Premier League record in posts hit.
Oh, well, that's a
He's
bad
so
luck.
unlucky, but it's like so frustrating to watch. But
It can be.
yeah,
And I think it's mostly frustrating for himself. you know.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, to be honest, the way Salah was playing that season, well, so many seasons in a row, including this
Every
one,
season, yeah.
it's attack still wasn't an issue for Liverpool, but they were leaking so many goals, and this was what you said about this like 7th club season now,
Yeah.
and that was like where things just weren't clicking.
Clicking, yeah. There, like the machine got stuck somewhere, and they were like whole squad, all the fans and like medias, everyone was like looking what could possibly go wrong, because something is
Something
wrong,
isn't
just like
functioning.
City
Yeah.
today, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I think like they blew all of the steam in the season prior when they almost won a quadruple, and this season they only won the Community Shield. And do we really want to count that as a real silver? I would say no.
It's something.
Yeah, but it's like
Hurricane still didn't have any.
even that. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate really, but this was like a season to forget, to be honest.
Exactly,
But,
like you always need to have this like one season with a flop,
yeah,
even
and
with a Klopp.
even with Klopp, like this
You have
season
a
was
flop.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, few pieces for future were there. Like Darwin Núñez was there.
Not a
and-
very far future.
Yeah, and well, another very important player, Cody Gakpo, that they brought in the winter transfer window from PSV.
Yeah, so that was right now like melody of the future. Still, and kind of started thinking about okay, what needs to be done next, because something is wrong. Suddenly, fifth place in the league, just the Community Shield, like you said, and for the rest of the cups, like very early going, being
Yeah, really
kicked out.
early exits also.
Yeah.
In the Champions League, and this season, because Newcastle managed to finish 4th above them, they didn't even have Champions League football in the next season.
And now we should start talking about this like refurnishing, because there was a lot of happening inside of the club.
Yeah, that was what happened in the previous season. So, well, the entire midfield was changed, literally, because
That was the
captain,
issue.
yeah, Captain Jordan Henderson, he went to Saudi Arabia. Also, Fabinho went to Saudi Arabia, just in a different club.
Yeah.
Milner went out on a free transfer to Brighton, and let's say like he can be 60 years old, but in this like previous season that was such a flop, he was actually a bright spot. Like he was coming off the bench and he was energized. Like it was so sad to see him at
Going.
that age going at his like 100%, and some people just like not bothering. So yeah, I think that also that was kind of necessary. I think like the entire midfield was changed, and yeah, that entire midfield is now, let's say, the key part of what Liverpool is in this season. So they bought Szoboszlai, they bought McAllister, they
Yeah.
bought Endo, and they bought Ryan Gravenberch. who flopped in Bayern, but I mean, even last season he wasn't all that great. But this season he's one of the best Liverpool players.
Yeah, because like with him, like you said about like someone else like going to Liverpool, like he was maybe like in a bad time, in bad place, and Liverpool style fits him more.
I would even say Arne Slot style.
Arne Slot, yeah.
He didn't play all that well last season. He was okay, but he wasn't like nearly as good as this season.
Yeah, like he just banked.
He just
with
banked.
Form, yeah.
Exactly, and yeah, I mean, losing Firmino was a huge hit. I was kind of afraid, but I mean,
it was coming.
It was coming, and like I said, like 2 years prior, Jota came, then Diaz came in the winter, then Nunes came.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of players who were there to take his place.
Yeah, and these three players took his like one place like very well, I would say, because everyone are scoring.
Yeah, I mean, let's say that
and with Mohamed,
Jota took his place, and then Diaz and Gakpo took place of Sadio Mane, and Salah still being Salah.
Yeah. So with Mohamed Salah, just him alone, you have like fully covered like forward field.
So yeah, and well, unfortunately, this was another season that was like kind of ruined for Liverpool by injuries. And my man, like I remember the only trophy actually that Liverpool won, they won with kids on the pitch. Like we watched this game together at your place.
Yeah, here.
And like players who were like literally under 18, they were on the pitch. But some of them really showed good promise, and I really hope to see more from them. Well, at this point, one of the players who actually has a part in this year's squad is Northern Irishman and right back Conor Bradley, because
from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and there we have a similar situation that we had at the beginning of this video and beginning of this history. So right back gets injured, and there's another young back from the academy who takes his place. So Trent got injured, and Bradley deputized for him perfectly. Like he really played some great football, and he was even man of the match like 1 or 2 times. Like
exactly, like that shows also how good the schools are for the youngest players in Liverpool. Like one of the most famous one in Europe is like La Masia from like Barca, but we also should give much respect to Liverpool ones.
Yeah, a lot of great products, and I really enjoyed watching them. And to be honest, like I wasn't even stressed, because with this amount of injuries, I was like just like hoping for the best, but like expected the worst. And I enjoyed like watching them play. Like that's the future of the team, let's say. But let's see, maybe next season, because most of them this season are on loan somewhere in like
they need to play.
Exactly, like they're still young, and it's time to earn those minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. If you are only good on the training ground, like how really good you are.
Exactly, because like you're maybe making like players in trainings, but you're becoming a player
on the
pitch.
Games. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, this was a mixed feeling season for me, but
still with some cup.
Yeah, and like a decent play in the Premier League, because well, until the last, let's say 5-6 matches, like Liverpool had a chance, but like you can really see them being so gassed out at the end, like when they lost points to Crystal Palace and like such matches when they were just like passing the ball aimlessly and trying to like break down the defensive block of the opponent, and on the other side they were like conceding some cheap goals.
Yeah, like something got just burned out.
Yeah,
in the atmosphere, you know.
It was just like
tired of themselves.
Exactly.
Like kinda.
Yeah. So
everything what they wanted to achieve was achieved like years before, and someday everyone gets bored with like people with
but I
like
don't think that was the problem. I think it was just like the
starting point, like
fitness issues and
yeah.
the stuff that where you're like playing too many matches.
Also
and with
that.
so many injuries, like some of the top players weren't getting a break, and then it just like fell apart at the end of the season.
Yeah, and we are getting even more matches now because why not?
Because Champions League is longer.
Expanding
and
and next year we have this Club World Cup, which we also would need to cover, like chances, groups, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, so let's come into the future and let's come into what's been happening this summer and
Right now, yeah.
So yeah, even prior to the end of the season, we knew that Jürgen Klopp is gonna leave the bench, and we found out very early in the summer that his replacement is gonna be Arne Slot.
Yeah, and when I first heard his name, I was like, who? Who is this man? I really like never heard of him, but I was like, okay, you do you. We will see, season will come.
He did play some good football, but like I said again, it was still not at the highest of the highest levels. Okay, Europe League, Conference League, Eredivisie, we're all good, but like this is a different
Level,
animal.
yeah.
And like we discussed in the videos, like with predictions for Premier League and everything, what was bothering me most is such passivity of in the transfer market. So literally they only picked up Mohamed from Valencia. That's been loaned back to them until the end of the season because let's
No
be
need for a
realistic.
goalkeeper.
No need for him. Like Alisson is still like clear number one, and Kelleher is more than decent
Number two,
replacement.
yeah. Mhm.
And Mamardashvili needs to play.
Yeah, like goalkeeper especially
He needs to play.
needs to have still like contact with the ball and
Exactly. So
read
that's
the
good.
play, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the second transfer was just like a punt. Like they took Chiesa, like they got him for really cheap, and it's like if it works, it works. But at least not a lot of money was spent on him or anything. He was a great player before the injuries. If he becomes healthy this season or next season,
He'll
it's
be
gonna,
important.
yeah, and it's gonna pay out. Like because to get the player of that caliber for that amount of money
European
in
champion.
year 2024, it's just like almost impossible. What bothered me is also that they sold a couple of youngsters. Like Bobby Clark was a good midfielder.
Promising one, yeah.
Yeah, and they sold him for like a bit more than 10 million to Salzburg.
Something around, yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of Carvalho.
2 times even.
Yeah, and like this time for definite. Again,
Transfer,
like they bought him for really small amount, and they sold him for like 5 times the amount of money. But I was like, come on, where are the reinforcements?
Yeah, like we have money, let's spend
let's
it,
do
use
something
it,
with
yeah.
it. But it turns out that like my fears were
Over
not-
exaggerated.
Yeah, not justified. Let's say because the true, let's say, bettering of the game and improvement came just like for this like tactical tweakings that Slot did, and you can see some different approach in the build up and everything. And I'm just praying that we don't have another injury crisis now when December is coming, because already Konate is injured. So that makes us play with Joe Gomez or like Jarrell Kwanzaa, and yeah, I mean, well, let's see.
For like couple years before, it has been like a tradition in Liverpool that December is like points losing month. So yeah, we will see. Maybe it won't be that bad because also like the game style has changed just a bit, because like you said about like your predictions, my predictions were that Arne Slot will for long time still ride on this like Jürgen Klopp's like
Yeah, the
basket
foundation that was already built, and even like I said, even in Klopp's previous like 3 years, maybe we had like starting of this like refurbishment, like first in the attack,
Picking, like,
a bit of defense, like when they bought Konate, and
building
like
the
last
core.
year the entire midfield was just like renovated.
Yeah, and when Jurgen Klopp had his like core players on like every line of the tactic, suddenly everything started clicking and like working, reaching for like Champions League finals, even winning one, all of that stuff. And like right now it's same thing, like, or at least very very similar thing happening with Arne Slot's,
And
but
it's clicking in the first season.
in the first season, because they got rid of some of Jurgen Klopp's game style things, like they are more, I guess, like keeping the ball more, trying something different sometimes, because
like let's say not inviting the pressure on the back line.
exactly
and-
putting the ball a bit further outside of their own goal, like which
and
is
they're playing much more directly. Like it's kind of those adjustments that worked wonders so far. So like I said, it's perfect score in Champions League, and only like, the draw
secured
against-
top 8.
Yeah, and only in the league draw with Arsenal and
And
they
Chelsea.
lost against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, that was a surprise,
Yeah, but
but
it
Nottingham
happens.
Forest has
It happens.
great season.
But yeah. So let's now talk about future.
What can you say about the future? What do you see? If I will give you like a glass ball, what will you see inside?
To be honest, there's been so many rumors about the players. So okay, we have big three with expiring contracts:
Salah.
Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed, Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Salah has been linked with going to Saudi Arabia. Even last year there was a great offer, like 200 mil almost.
They got money,
Yeah, but like Liverpool, they don't want to sell him, understandably. Trent has been linked to Real for sometimes now, and now in the rumors now appearing is Barcelona and Bayern and like few teams. And about Virgil van Dijk, well, there's not been like a definite club that, like I said, has been interested in him, but he's still on an expiring contract, and well, January is almost here, so it's becoming dangerous. But let's say that rumors have it that Salah is extending the contract. That the only issue there was about the length of it, because he wanted 3 years, Liverpool wanted 1 more year.
just one.
Yeah, and then they like got to the middle ground, and there's been rumors, let's say, that it's gonna be like a 2-year extension.
2 years sounds
Fair.
Fair,
Because
yeah.
let's be realistic. Salah is aging a bit, but the way he's playing this season is still like he's in top tier prime. Like he's
he
been
got his
instrumental for Liverpool this season.
Yeah.
Almost every match he has a goal contribution, whether it be assist or a goal. But he's been like the top player for Liverpool.
he gained his like second youth,
Exactly.
as we could say.
Yeah, and Van Dijk, I really hope to resign him, because I'll be honest, I don't
That's a foundation.
trust that much all of the other center backs that we have, because they're so, let's say, mistake prone sometimes, or careless, or anything that goes with it. And like
Even
he
like-
is the core. Like he's the
Yeah.
guy who plays with so much calmness that he just like institutes some like aura around him, where he can just like even scare the forwards.
I mean, he's big and he's like this alpha male build.
Yeah, like-
He's a true defender from the
Yeah,
center.
that is, yeah, and like you can see even with the attitude, like the way he smacked Mbappe, like in the Champions League match.
Exactly, like Mbappe just got bounced off like from a wall.
He got banished to Shadow Realm just like by a shoulder barge,
Exactly.
and it's like,
Yeah, and we are still talking about one of the best players in the world, even though he has one of the worst season in his whole career.
Even I would say the worst season of his career.
Even
at
like the
this
number
point.
one worst. Yeah.
But so we really need to keep Van Dijk, and when it comes to Trent, I guess he would be the easiest person to replace because, well, Bradley's already playing in a lot of games. Even though, like last year, I had a lot of issues with Trent's defending, like especially in the first match of the last season against Chelsea. I noticed that literally Chelsea was targeting that side when they didn't know what to do with the ball. Just hit it on the left wing, and Chilwell will get it in front of Trent.
Yeah.
This year he improved defending a bit, like he's good as always has been in like the attacking part. His like long balls are great, and now tactically like he's doing this like inverted fullback thing in kind of different way that he's even more like dangerous offensively. So I wouldn't like to lose also him, but like if I had to pick between those three players, I would definitely pick him because at least okay, we have a like prepared substitute who is well not as good as him, but he's young, he's gonna develop, he's gonna grow, and
If he's gonna play, then he will develop. Especially that even like right now, just like you said, he's very good.
yeah, like so guess that would be like let's say the easiest pill to swallow.
Exactly. So guys, that was our new Let's Talk episode, this time about Liverpool, about Jürgen Klopp's era and starting of new era of Arne Slot, which is right now going very good, very nice, just like in this meme. Leave us your comments and thoughts about the future, about the past, also what would you like to change maybe. And leave a like, share and subscribe, just like always. With me was Serjan, my name is Patrick, and see you guys next time.
We wish you a great day and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.